In this video, I want to talk about some observations about the current market. You are probably aware that the momentum has shifted. Now a lot of stocks, growth stocks, are going down in the stock market, and maybe you see a lot of panic. So in this video, I will explain the situation. I read this tweet, which is great, so I'm about to comment it. I will show you the different pullbacks we had in the past few years, and we will talk about stocks and about bonds. Okay, this will be the, the summary of this video. Let me start with this tweet. Let me zoom in so you see better. Okay, from Ram Alouwalia. Sorry for the accent, that's a French accent. This is a great tweet that summarizes the situation pretty well. The S&P 500 right now, it's down 5%, but you see a lot of stocks that are down 10, 20, 30%, and you see a lot of panic. So this is a great tweet that explains the situation, and I'm sure it will be very helpful to you. So a few observations. Foreign stock markets, including Germany, France, and emerging markets, are decidedly beating the S&P 500 year to date. Yes, if you look at the CAC 40, our French CAC 40, year to date we are up 9%. If you compare this with the DAX 30 German index, it's up 13%. And if you compare this to the S&P 500, we are flat year to date. Okay, so no, it's normal. I mean, if you look at last year for the CAC 40, for example, last year the performance in 2024 was minus 3%. So you have to give back a little bit. Okay, so now seems like you have a reversal. Seems like European indexes are working well. Same thing with China. A lot of underperforming years, and now for the first 2 months, 3 months of the year, is going pretty well for emerging markets. Second point, Trump appears to be focused on lowering the 10-year. It's a bond. It's the most important bond of the bond market, and seems like it's the priority of this new government, which is what is happening to unlock the mortgage market rather than boosting equities. Okay, a few comments here. For the first mandate of Trump in 2016, you had what we called in the market the Trump effect. I mean, the priority of the president was to boost equities during his mandate because he wanted to tweet about it. So, okay, for good or bad reasons, the incentive was to boost stock prices. Now it seems like the key incentive for the new administration is to lower the 10-year bond. Because if you lower the 10-year bond, you will lower all the mortgage rates. And if you lower all the mortgage rates, the real estate market will become more accessible. Right now, if you want to lock some yields and buy a new house, you have some mortgage rates at 7%, which is very high, which is very, very high, and preventing a lot of people from taking a loan and boosting the housing market. So if you reduce this yield, you reduce the global mortgage rates for everybody, and it gives you a lot of incentives to buy a new apartment, a new house, and that boosts the economy of the country. So literally this is the definition of no pain, no gain. Short-term pain of lowering this and maybe inducing a small recession just to kick the real estate market after this. So start again, reignite the housing market in a couple of months. This tweet is saying, yeah, this is the strategy of the new administration. Short-term pain, and then you boost the overall market afterwards. Okay, recall Besant said on Friday that mortgage rates are coming down and the housing market will unlock. Yeah, I mean, if you look about the housing market, you have a couple of stocks that are getting beaten up. If you look at NVR, one of the best home builder, it's down from all-time high. It's down 30%. If you look at Green Brick Partners, another great housing stock company, the stock from all-time high, which was in September is down 30%. If you look at Toll Brothers, you have similarly a performance that is minus 30%. So these are great companies. It just happens that there is a deficit of homes in the US. Maybe you are aware of this. The majority of the audience is from the US, so I suspect you are aware of this. You need to build much more homes in the US. And how do you build a home if you have no buyers? So you need the buyers, you need to lower the mortgage rates. Maybe that's just theoretical at this point, but seems like this is the plan. Okay, the front loading of activity makes sense even if it doesn't feel good. The administration may have concluded it's better to have a correction earlier in the administration rather than later. I will add to this, if you have a correction in the stock market right now, the new administration can blame the past administration, which in politics they do often. So I wouldn't be surprised if they force the pullback right now, blame it on the past administration, and then appear as the heroes for the next few months. For example, for the first half of the year, you can have like an index minus 10%, minus 15%, and then a rebound, and they say they are the heroes. This is possible. I'm just guesstimating at this point, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is the case. Okay, undoubtedly, Trump's staff is revising the State of the Union address to reinvigorate psychology, which has taken a beating. On the other hand, if Trump wants to prioritize lowering the 10-year, we are going to hear more about tariffs. I mean, seems like they want to do everything to lower this yield, and it's working. If you look at the 10-year yield, in January it was like 4.8, and now it's at 4.1. In 2 months, you had a reduction of 0.7, which is a lot. And if you look at the charts, if you extrapolate this decrease for the next 2 months and then 2 months, I mean, look at the work that can be done in 6 months. If that's their goal, that's great. It means it's working for them. So congrats to the administration if this was their goal. I don't recall a time seeing my timeline this bearish. Maybe you are on Twitter, maybe you are, I know you are on YouTube. You have a lot of videos that complain about stocks being red. Everybody is pessimistic, bearish on the stock market for the next 6 months. We see no evidence of a recession in earnings reports. Yep, the earnings season is finished, and the earnings were fine actually. For the companies I own, for a lot of the big Magnificent 7 companies, the companies that hold this market, the companies are fine. Maybe slowing down, but they are not stable. They are still growing profitably, investing in the future. So I see no sign of recession. By the way, if you're looking for a complete framework to analyze stocks and build a strong portfolio, I have a coaching program. More on that at the end of the video. Fifth point. I did see a report that Millennium and Citadel had a down February. That's rare. Yeah, me too, but I think it doesn't matter. The closest analogy I can find to this market is the sharp and violent correction of 2015. What was the correction line in 2015? Let me check. That was 10 years ago, so not a lot of markets participants watching this channel were there. I wasn't there. I just know that 2015, 2016, kind of flat years, up and down, up and down. Okay, let me check what happened in 2015. This is 2015, the beginning of 2015. Starting here. Yeah, you have some couple of panic points that got bought every time, and 2 declines, and then back to going up. Yeah, nothing, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the case. Now, as you probably know, the market is expensive. If you look at the S&P 500 PE ratio, it's at, where do I look at it? It's at 29. This is the website I go to. Maybe depending on the website, you will get 29, 28, 26. But compare it if you compare it to historical levels, that's quite expensive. So I wouldn't be surprised if the market is flat, for example, this year, but the earnings go up. So that will reduce the PE ratio. Maybe this is similar to a scenario of 2015, 2016. Nobody knows. I wrote it about their newsletter. By the way, you can check his profile. Great post. One takeaway, trying to time the bottom is risky. Yeah, I would be very cautious on holding a lot of cash right now. You can never know how sharp the rally can be. The rally can be in 1 week. If you miss 1 week of gains, you lost all the gains of the year. So maybe you don't want to hold a lot of cash. The losses observed recently should recover swiftly as good economic data rolls in. Markets are oversold. We finally had a mega VIX spike, although it feels like this number should be 28. Yeah, this is just speculation at this point. What they want to say is you have this VIX, so this is kind of a volatility panic index, and the last panic move we had in the market was in July. You have this Japanese yen carry trade in August, sorry, and the VIX spiked from, a little bit before, from 15 to 50. So that's a large increase. And now you have from 15 to 20, 25. So I don't see the same kind of panic actually. Why the give back? The Friday bounce was too much and too fast. Yeah, we had 1 day of great rebound for everybody. I don't think this is just speculation at this point. Overall, if you are long equities, restrain the instinct to capitulate. Yeah, I couldn't agree more on this one. That podcast you listen to about the end of times is getting priced into markets. We are 2/3 or 3/4 through this phase, and the recovery will be just as violent and sharp. Yeah, I don't know about the timing. I don't know if you are halfway through. Maybe this is just the beginning, but I agree with this guy that the recovery can be as sharp as the decline. If we dropped, I don't know, if for some reason we drop 10% for 1 month, in 1 month it can rebound 10% and more. I wouldn't be surprised at all. You've seen it with 2015, 2016. It can be it can have some strong volatility in the market and strong rallies. The anxiety is running high, which is true, which is maybe why you are watching this video. I had a chat with someone in their 50s who is generally not a news junk, and they feel anxiety. Okay, the sentiment surveys are real. Yeah, if you look at the fear and greed index, you are in extreme fear territory. If you look at the AAII survey to check the sentiment across the retail crowd, we are at maybe all-time lows, all-time panic lows. So people are extremely nervous at the moment. You have a lot of anxiety. This is a very good point, the 11th point. Avoid investing in bubbles that burst. And he repeats it. Avoid investing in bubbles that burst. Avoid investing in bubbles that burst. You are probably aware that Nikola went bankrupt, and you can expect more bad businesses to go bankrupt in the following months. Don't touch bubbly companies or try to avoid them, because this is where you can have the worst performers of the year. Focus on value stocks with strong earnings growth. Yep, at the end of the day, you want to buy good companies that grow their earnings. Spend time with your family, go for a walk, enjoy a comedy film, turn off the news, enjoy the beginning of springtime. Good luck and hang in there. This too shall soon pass. Yep, absolutely. Great tweet. This is a great summary of the situation. Now I want to talk about this one. The S&P 500 is down over 5% from its peak. It was 10 days ago, 20 days ago. So it was quite sharp, and it can really, I see a lot of panic, but this is very recent. The largest pullback since last August. This is now the 30th correction of 5% or more. of a high since the great financial crisis. They all seemed like the end of the world or at the time. And there is a great table here. Look at this table, all the declines. Look at the declines here, 5%, 10%, etc. This is not the first time it happens. On average, the decline was -7%, -8%. Now we are declining at -5.5%. The last time it happened was a decline of 10% last August, because we had a lot of recession fears, Fed behind the curve, and the Nikkei crash. You have a yen carry trade. And now the fears are about tariffs, economic slowdown concerns. And every time there is a correction, movement of panic, people say, yeah, this one is different. But data says this is never different. This is never different. You always have the sentiment that, okay, this one is for real. And at the end of the day, if earnings are strong, and they have been strong for years and years, they recover. Stocks recover. If you are invested in great companies that are not a value trap, they will recover. And every time you have a market panic, it seems like it's the end of the world. These two shall pass. And sometimes you get a feeling that this is the end of the world because some stocks are not down 5%. Some stocks are down -30%. And Ben Carson here is having this tweet. A few weeks and months out of the election, you get Tesla that was a double, Bitcoin up, MicroStrategy up, Palantir up, Hims and Hers up, and maybe the panic we see in the market is caused by this momentum. People enjoyed the highs, enjoyed the higher highs, and now that their stocks are correcting a little bit, people completely panic because maybe some new investors bought at the top of the cycle. And now from the highs, Tesla is down 40%, Bitcoin is down 20%, or even more actually. MicroStrategy cut in half, Palantir -30%, Hims down 40%. Look at this decline. If you look at the past year, this is the sharpest decline you got in all these stocks. And I see plenty of retail stocks that have the same characteristics. They went up a lot for the past months, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And now, boom, they get cut in half. So people say, oh, it's -50%. It's a complete crash. Actually, if you look at the past performance for the past 6 months, it's fine. It's fine. It's just on a relative basis, it can seem like a crash. And if you bought at the stock, I understand the worry. It happens. It happens. That's life in the market. So yeah, congrats to these tweets. Ben Carlson, you have Charlie Biello here, sorry, and you have Ram Aluwalia. Sorry for the accent again. So yeah, I think it's a great time to just sit back, and if you are invested in great companies, just sit back and do nothing for this market. But very interesting. So that's it for the update, guys. I wish you a nice rest of your day.
If you like this content, I have an investing coaching program. In this program, you will learn a complete investing process. You will learn how to find good stock ideas, how to properly value stocks, when to buy, when to sell, so that you can build a strong portfolio. Additionally, you will have access to my personalized guidance for long-term results. We will do weekly calls where we analyze stocks together, and you will have access to my private number available 24/7 for full support. If you are blocked, if you have any questions, I'm here to help. Click the first link in the description to get more information. You will get a video that explains how everything works completely for free. No need to sign up, no need for your email address. Just click the first link in the description and I'll see you on the other side.